hope you are well and you're having a nice week so far. Hopefully you've been able to get out in some of the sort of winter sun that we've been having, well, in Liverpool anyway. So hopefully you've had some of that in Warrington and you've managed to get out for some nice walks. It's definitely changing the seasons. It's definitely feeling a bit more wintry, but I love those crisp sort of sunny days. So I hope you've enjoyed some of those. So this is the Performing Arts group for Creative Remedies. My name is Gemma and we're going to do a writing session today. So what you need is a bit of paper and a pen. That's about all you need. So if you need to grab those, press pause on the video and get them now. Okay, so this session this week is all about someone that we're going to use as a stimulus or as a theme, someone who you admire or are inspired by. Okay, so start having that in the back of your head about who you might want to use, but don't worry about it yet. We're just going to do a couple of warm-up activities just to get us in the writing zone. So, task one, I'm going to ask you, you're going to pause the video after I've set this task and you'll just have a go at it and then press play again when you've finished. If you were asked to be in charge of the world, it's quite a big job, for a day, what changes would you make? So if you were asked to be in charge of the world for one day, what changes would you make? Now you can write this in a list, you can write it as like a bit of a monologue, a thought process. You could write it a bit like when we do automatic writing where you don't stop and you just write, it doesn't have to make sense. Just put down on paper the things that you would change if you had that power for one day. Okay, when you've done that, come back. Lovely. Okay, fantastic. I'd be so interested to find out what things you'd be changing in the world. I'm sure that there'll be positive things, although there might be a few people I imagine that maybe would have put something, this is maybe what I would write, that, you know, chocolate is free, that sort of thing. Okay, next activity. I'd like you to write down without really thinking or censoring yourself if possible. And by that I mean stopping a thought and going, oh no, that's not a good idea. Just writing down anything that comes to you. So a bit like automatic writing as well, where you just have to go for it. So write down all the things you like about people, human beings. Doesn't need to be a specific person, just what do you like about humans? So I have a list somewhere. Oh, here we go. Things that I like about people. I like chatting. I like learning. I like the smiling, the hugging. I like the company. I like talented people, such as writers, actors, singers. They make me feel emotions and they trigger memories. I like friendly faces. I like to feel safe around certain people. I like that we care for each other as humans. Excuse me, once you've done that list, you might want to add some names or specific people or groups of people to those things. You don't have to do that, but so I've put chatting with my friends. I love doing that. I love learning from colleagues, actors, presenters, writers. I like smiling. I like that from strangers. It's hard at the moment with the masks because you can't really see it happening as much. But if you're in the park, maybe you don't have a mask on and someone smiles at you, it's really lovely. Company, my husband. We've spent a lot of time together, as you probably have with whoever you live with, if you live with somebody this year. And you've either maybe thought, I really love the company of this person, or maybe it's maybe a little bit too much. And either is okay because we've been asked to spend a lot of time with them. But I'm definitely on the first one there, that I could spend a lot more time with that person and I'd be quite content because I really love his company. Okay, so you're going to write down all the things you like about people. Try not to censor yourself, just write. And then if you want to label some of them with different people, your friends, your family, a certain member of your family, a certain friend, a certain actor who makes you feel, so I could have gone even further with talented actors, make me feel emotions. Could have then said Julie Walters, she really does, or Ricky Gervais, been watching Afterlife and that really is moving, or whatever. So you can spin off that as much as you like. Okay, so write down all the things you like about people, about human beings, and then if you want, write some more specifics, who you're talking about, who in particular makes you feel like that. Okay, and then come back. Excellent. So now we are going to choose that special person that we are going to spend the rest of the session thinking about, really. Somebody who you admire or someone that inspires you. So it could be someone you know, or it could be someone you've never met. So if it's somebody you've never met, it could be perhaps somebody who calls you as a support network, or a carer in a care home that looks after maybe a family member. You may have met that person, but you maybe don't really know them. Or it could be somebody famous, so it could be like an actor, or your favourite author of a book, or a singer in a band, or a musician. But it also could be someone you know, so it could be a family member, your sister, or your dad, or your little brother, or a friend that does pretty amazing things, and doesn't really moan about anything and just gets on with stuff. It could be anyone. So just have a couple of minutes to think. If you need to write some people down, think, what inspires me about them and who do I want to focus on for this session. Okay, and then come back when you've done that. Right, so now you've got your special person, we're going to really hone in on them and work out what we know about them and why we're so inspired by them. So you're going to do a list of all the things you know about them, and then all the reasons why they inspire you. Excuse me. For example, I have written about my mum. So I've put my mum at the top, and I've just split the page into two, and I've got things I know about her and why she inspires me. I could have gone on about this, of course, but I'll give you a little idea of what I put. So for my mum, things I know about her: she's a mum, a daughter, a wife, a sister, a gran. She works in a school, lives in Yorkshire and has always lived there. Very organised, very tidy, hard-working, makes lovely food, very homely, looks after people, likes rugby union, likes going on holiday, good with numbers and figures, likes horror films. She's a list maker, very reliable. Now I could have expanded on all of those. So for example, makes lovely food, very homely. I could have written down some of the things in particular that I like that she makes. Works in school, I could have written more about her job role. Likes going on holiday, I could have written more about the sort of holidays that she likes to go on. So if you want to expand on your list, that's brilliant. The more detail we can get down on the page about this person, the better. Now obviously I know my mum really well. If you've decided to choose J.K. Rowling, for example, who wrote Harry Potter, you might be struggling a little bit because you might not know loads about her. Feel free, if you have the facilities, to Google the person, get a little bit more background information on them, find out a bit more. It may even lead you to be inspired even more by them. Or just focus on the things that you actually know and expand on them as much as you can. Then on the other side, or wherever, you can have two pieces of paper, it's up to you. Why do they inspire you? So I've put, she's strong, good at advice, sensible, always puts others first, doesn't moan, great ideas and motivator, very thoughtful, went back to uni after having a family and achieved qualifications for her job, strong morals. Okay, again, each one of those I could have expanded. So good advice, I could have written about a time where she advised me and it was really good. Doesn't moan, I could write about a difficult time she's had and how she hasn't really complained about it at all. Went back to uni, I could talk about where she went, what her course was. So you can put as much detail in either of these lists as you like. Okay, so that's going to take us a little bit of time. So I'm going to ask you to think about your person, do a list, what do you know, why do they inspire you, and put as much detail as you know or as you want and examples of those moments as much as you like. And then come back to us. Thanks. Fantastic. So now we've got a really detailed information sheet about that person. And I'd like us to just a short activity, write a mini bio about them. Now you could just write that in the form of sort of like J.K. Rowling is blah blah years old and is a writer from Scotland. She did da 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 da. Basically put your list into a bit of a profile. But if you want to do something a bit more creative with it, you absolutely can. So maybe it works best if you know the person, but I'm not sure because I've done someone I know. But you could write possibly J.K. Rowling was a creative child growing up in the Highlands of Scotland where the scenery was breathtaking. I don't know if any of that's true. So I'll show you what I've written about my mum and see if that inspires you. So you can do it very simply, plainly as a bio. You can add a bit of a creative twist if you like. So my mum is a force to be reckoned with when she is on a mission with a list. She will make the list so easy to navigate and so sensible in its order that the least chance of problems arising will occur. She is a Yorkshire woman, born and bred. Her Yorkshire puddings, which are always made from scratch, are amazing. She works in a school and has such detailed organisation skills that without her the place would no doubt fall apart. I worry about them next year when she retires. And obviously I could have gone on, but I was just picking out little bits and bobs from all the lists and making it into this sort of creative bio about her. So you can do it as simply or as embellished, I guess, as you like. This is your chance to sort of shine a light on this person and talk about why they're so brilliant. Okay. Don't worry about making it long. It can be, mine is only this long. I could have maybe just written a couple more lines and that would have been enough. It's totally up to you. Okay, and when you've done that, come back. Brilliant. Right, now we're going to write a creative piece of writing inspired by your person. Okay, and some of the qualities that you love about them. It could be a letter to them, and if it is, it doesn't necessarily have to be from you. So say if we were using J.K. Rowling, you could write a letter from a super fan, a 10-year-old who's just read the first 3 Harry Potter books and is absolutely in love with them, and they're writing to her to tell her about that. Or it could be a 16-year-old who read all the books when they were younger and they are signing up now to a creative writing course and they've been inspired to go ahead and try and be a writer themselves. Okay, or it could be from you, about why you love that person. You might want to write a short story involving them. It could be true, it could be fictional, up to you. You could create a character that has similar qualities to them. So maybe I would do that about my mum. I'd think, okay, so say there was another person who had some of these qualities. Who might they be? What might they do? It could be a cleaner, a man, a single parent. So got those qualities, hardworking, maybe from Yorkshire as well. And just try and link a few things up and create a character and write something about them. Or it could be a poem, whatever you like. So you could do a letter, a short story, create a new character and put them in a scenario, or write a poem inspired by this person and their amazing qualities. So this is going to be the chunkiest activity we're going to do, so you might want to go away, put the kettle on, have a think, look back at your list, think about some of those key things like, oh yeah, always put others first. What sort of person does that? Okay, maybe I'll write about a nurse through the COVID-19 first lockdown who had to isolate away from her children so she could work on the ward, for example. She's really organised, she's a mum and a wife as well, and she looks after other people, ticking off lots of things, and you might want to do that. You might want to just, I could maybe just write a letter to my mum saying thank you for being such an inspiration to me and helping me make really positive choices, whatever you like. So it can be as personal or as separate from you as you like. So spend a bit of time on it, have a good think about it. As I say, have a cup of tea, maybe a biscuit, and just let your writing flow and have a little go at it. And then when you've done that, come back for one last activity. Okay, so the last activity, you're going to choose something off your inspiring list, why they inspire you, and just use that as a stimulus to create a new piece of writing. So we're sort of almost forgetting the person now, we're just going to pick something off that. And what's brilliant about this list we've got, this is like loads of stimuluses for writing. So if you keep hold of this and one day you just feel like you want to do a bit of creative writing, you look at it and go, okay, sensible. That person was sensible, so I put sensible at the top of my page, and I'll just start working from there, start writing what is sensible. You can ask questions, you can delve deeper. Who are sensible people? What does that even mean? Do they ever make mistakes? Why are they sensible? Are they cautious? Did they used to be a risk taker? You know, and you can just start to create something. So I wrote strong morals, and then I wrote from that a moral dilemma, and then I wrote whether to lie for a good reason, a tricky decision. Lie about the reason someone didn't get a job. You could say it was their availability rather than they were not good enough for the job. Okay, so I've gone from that strong morals, I've just shifted it, and now I've got down to someone who's going to lie to somebody about not getting a job, not because they were not good enough, but they're going to make up a different reason. And from that, I would maybe spend a couple of minutes writing a monologue from this person of who's trying to decide whether to do the right thing and tell them the honest reason why they didn't get the job, or lie to save their feelings and not hurt their feelings. So pick one thing off your list and just use it as a stimulus at the top of the page, and then write something else, and just give yourself like 5 minutes to create a brand new piece of writing, a monologue, a short story that comes from that one word. And that's just a good exercise to sort of wind us down from the session. And it's an example of something that you can do at any time, just if you want to be a bit creative, have a bit of an output of creativity. Okay, that's the end of the session this week. I would love to hear about who you are inspired by and what inspires you about them and how you made that into creative writing. And if we were all together, I would love to be hearing little bits of your work now. If you want to write anything underneath the videos, it would be lovely to hear about what you're writing about and where it's taken you. Hope you've enjoyed the session and have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.